Yes, we did it. We made it through another week. We are the Red Hot Underdogs. I'm AnzaK, and with me tonight is the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, never duplicated. Put your hands together for Drewy.
Hey buddy, how you going? Hello everybody. Welcome to the podcast that tries to be about as impactful as a Chuck Norris orgasm leaving an exit wound.
Oh my goodness.
So
Jesus.
there you go.
That's-
It's a weird one.
I've got to think about that for a bit, or I've got
Or maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe you don't want to go there.
No, I'm not going to think about that.
Absolutely. Oh mate.
Yes.
Finals. What a weekend. Hello everybody.
Oh, no.
Glad you could join us.
Oh no, Drew, look at this. Look, come on, sit up here.
So what do we got? We got a little visitor.
It's the birthday boy.
Happy birthday, JJ. Congratulations, buddy. It's a pity the Sea Eagles couldn't get a win for you. Huh?
You know that song, It's My Birthday and I Can Cry If I Want to?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
You've had that all morning.
Oh, then look at this. It's everybody's come in to do the podcast.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Yes,
Good to see you.
From?
Nem gave it to me.
Yeah, I like the look of it.
Okay, great. Now I'm doing this very important. Put in the
All right.
Can you take him? Come on.
So,
amazing.
so it's
Come on,
been a
Ariana.
pretty action-packed week,
Shut the
but
door.
here we go. He's trying to clear out the
Right.
hordes.
Go.
Bye.
Hi.
Shut the
Hello.
door.
See you later.
Oh,
It
Yeah.
never ends, does it?
no.
So that's okay. We'll head straight to the NRL and then unpack the preliminary semi-finals. So we've had two more teams exit the sphere this weekend.
Mm,
Unfortunately, our Sea Eagles
yeah.
and the North Queensland Cowboys. But I think we'll start with the North Queensland Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah.
So, slightly happier pastures because I don't want to really reflect on the Sea Eagles, even though we have to.
Yeah.
But it'll make me feel better just knowing that the Cowboys bowed out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Sharks actually won that game 26 points to 18.
Yeah. Close.
And the Sharks were leading 24-0 at halftime.
Yep.
So the Cowboys did well to come back. In the second half, the Cowboys won 18 points to 2.
Yep. But
So what are your thoughts?
I watched it and I liked it. I was going for the Cowboys. It really felt like they could come back.
Yeah.
But didn't happen. And I'm, I know it sounds weird, but I don't like the Sharks, but maybe I'm a little bit warmer to them now, just a little bit, just like, 1 degree warmer, 1 degree, maybe 2 degrees warmer.
Yeah, I don't mind the Sharks. They've had a very rough and tough time of the semi-finals in recent history, as has been well publicised. Before this actual game, they were 0-7 in semi-finals. So they just really needed to break through. A lot of scrutiny around their halfback, Nico Hines, heading into it.
Yep.
Some people saying that he should be dropped, others not so much, others saying he's on a big pay packet at the Sharks. He's worth the most amount of money at the Sharks. So he needs to stand up despite the fact that he hasn't in recent times. So it was good for him to get the victory with the Sharks. But he essentially wasn't the star. The star was his 5'8" Braden Trindle, who had an absolute corker of a game.
And so they play on this Friday night? No, Saturday. So
they will play the Panthers.
Yeah, Saturday night. Yep.
So just running through the game slightly. So in the first half, the Sharks got a penalty try in the 13th minute. Some people think it should have, some not so much. Then they followed it up with, and that was Braden Trindle got awarded that penalty try. Second one was McInnes in the 15th minute. Then Trindle again in the 31st and Mulatalo in the 38th. And by that stage, it was 24-0. Can't afford to give anyone a 24-0 lead at any point in the semi-finals. Second half, the Cowboys got tries to Valentine Holmes in the 41st minute, Reuben Cotter in the 54th, and Valentine Holmes in the 69th minute. What kind of put it beyond doubt was a penalty kick from Nico Hines in the 65th minute. But yeah, just a real game of two halves.
Mm.
But like I said, you can't give that kind of start.
You know,
sorry?
Well, that relates to Manly. I know we haven't talked about Manly, but you know, we were down so much after the first half. I was like, you know, that what you just said. It's a game of two halves. Manly can come back. Manly can be a different team, but anyway, it's that option to Manly. We fluffed it at the start. We you know.
Well, I mean, I hate to do it because I hate the Roosters, but I'll give them a lot of credit.
Yeah.
They got a big fat boot up the arse the week before from the Panthers, and they came out with strong intent. In the first 35 seconds, Jake Trbojevic and Toto Kula were both sent off the ground with head injuries.
Yeah.
Because of the ferocity with which the Roosters ran.
Did Kula come back on, or because Jake came on?
No, Kula was off for the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know because we'll never find out, but he might not have even been eligible for the next game had the Sea Eagles won, but they didn't.
Yeah. And
they got a you
know, Roosters, like, think back to when they played the Panthers and lost. They were down. They got smashed the first half, but then they came back that second half and they looked good.
Yes, I was worried about that.
Yeah, and they kept that the whole bloody game pretty much. Like, there was no stage where you thought Manly was going to win. At no stage. It was like team not playing as good for the whole 80 minutes, you know? Like, I'm not taking away the tries, which were exciting, but they had a bit of luck to them too, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, look, the Roosters were just on point. Just a quick rundown. Radley scored in the 11th minute. He was a late inclusion. He wasn't even going to play.
Yeah,
so he did very well, and he actually played a very good game. Tedesco in the 31st minute, Sandon Smith in the 35th, Tupou in the 41st, Tedesco in the 55th minute, and Dominic Young in the 76th minute. And for the Sea Eagles, we only got 3 tries as opposed to their 6. So we got Olakau'atu the 38th minute, just on the stroke of half time to give us that little touch of hope. Even though essentially it was gone at 20-4 at half time, we needed some points at half time.
Little touch of hope, and then we didn't convert. I really felt like we had the little touch of hope, scored a try, Derek missed the conversion. I thought, well, that's it, you know?
Yeah, after that, Tommy Talau scored in the 59th minute, and Trbojevic scored a bit of a closer to just give us, you know, a bit of hope for next year. He scored in the 73rd minute.
Yeah, Jesus.
Just
hope for next year.
Mate, in a bushfire, we were looking for the smallest green shoots.
Yeah.
And even the green shoots were brown, let me tell you.
No pun intended with that bushfire. You know, with all the fires up here. Drewy, you hear
Correct.
That?
Yeah, I saw the smoke. I was hoping it wasn't your house yesterday.
Yeah. Well, like,
so I know that you had the bushfires.
Well, it's right here. You know, I'm on the bush. And I drove up. I had the kids in the car filming.
Yes.
The amount of fire engines and firefighters, it's uncountable, honestly.
It was huge.
Huge.
I mean, there was a fire near your house and there was a fire against the Sea Eagles yesterday. And we just couldn't stop the Roosters. We just got to
Beacon Hill
Yeah.
Bush, mate. We weren't on fire, actually. Yeah, we were just burning. That's what was happening.
We got a great big Sydney City cock shoved up us, and there was nothing we could do about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So the Roosters will progress to the Storm, as we mentioned, and the Panthers and the Sharks. Little bits of hope for next year, maybe. Not much that you can draw from that. The thing that I will say that separates your Storm and Panthers, and to a lesser extent your Roosters, to teams like the Sea Eagles, Sharks and Cowboys, are the fact that they seem to really compartmentalise their game. They seem to have strategy. They seem to have organisation. Manly kind of rely on blowing teams out of the water in the first half an hour, which isn't a bad strategy, but if it doesn't work for them then they kind of get lost in the mix after that. And which would made last week's win so amazing, because we don't see that from Manly actually making a comeback and winning. So I'm going to give... Sorry?
Oh, I'm just a bit disappointed. I'm deflated. I'm just like, I was thinking about this in the middle of the night last night and just thinking, how am I going to even roll for this podcast? And here I am doing it at this moment. Just like it just pisses me off. That's how I feel. I just feel pissed off. I'm just sick of it.
All puns included. You're like a cock that has blown its load. You're just deflated.
Bloody Roosters.
Just deflated. So, and look, and the Roosters, for as good as they played,
I just don't like the Roosters. I really don't.
I know. But for as good as Manly played, for as badly as Manly played, and for as well as the Roosters played, I can't preface that enough. Roosters played extremely well. And I'm not using this as an excuse. I do feel it, like, physically and mentally and spiritually, Manly just looked dog-tired from the week before. Because that was a bruising encounter. And I think they spent all of their petrol from last week on just getting to this game.
And
by the time it got to this game, they just looked tired and out on their feet. But I'm not going to piss on the Roosters fish and chips. They deserve the win. Congratulations. And I actually give them a little chance against the Storm.
Me too.
I think they're a live chance.
They really looked on point. I reckon the Storm, watching that game, will be nervous. I know they haven't beat the Storm in umpteen games. But
massive hoodoo. But, I think that'll give them a lot of confidence. I really do. I think they're actually going to put the hoodoo aside. They go, bugger it, everyone knows it by now. We got nothing to lose. And I think they'll come in ready and raring to go. I still think the Storm will win, but I think it'll be a hell of a struggle. I think the Sharks are dead in the water. I think that's like feeding, instead of a shark to a panther, a goldfish to a panther.
Goldfish versus the panther. Panthers love eating goldfish, actually.
They do. I just think that there are just too many flaws in the game for the Sharks now. They're just they're coming into this preliminary final like a car with 3 tyres and no steering wheel.
Well, after that game, I mean, could you imagine a Penrith Roosters grand final?
I could. The one scenario that I least likely envision is the Sharks making it. And if the Sharks do happen to pull off one last miracle, I think the side playing them will be absolutely licking their lips. So realistically from here, I think we can all say that there are only literally 3 teams that can potentially make the grand final, and we can cross off the Sharks.
I think
anyway,
it's going to be Storm Panthers, like everybody. It's going to be Storm. That's how
it is. And in other news, the AFL, the mighty Sydney Swans, cheer, cheer the red and the white, through to the absolute beautiful grand final. against Brisbane.
Yes.
I've traded my maroon shirt for the scarlet and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when's the grand final?
That'll be next Saturday.
Yep.
So that'll be on Saturday. I believe, don't quote me on, about 2:30 or 2:20.
Yep.
So check your local guides.
Yep.
So I can't tell you offhand, but definitely on the Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
And Sydney overcame a massive hoodoo
Yep.
in beating the Port Adelaide Power.
Yep.
Sydney won 14-11-95 over the Power, 8-11-59, a 36-point win.
Yep.
And got an 8-match hoodoo off their back, dating back to 2016. So they'll be really glad for that.
Yeah. Well done, Sydney. Who's going to win? Who's going to be the finalist there? Who's going to win the grand final?
I really like Sydney to win this. They've got some really good players playing really well at the moment, the likes of AnzaK Heaney, Tom Papley, Dane Rampy, Logan McDonald, Errol Gordon, take your pick. But AnzaK Heaney is the pick of the bunch.
Yeah.
He is our He-Man and our master of our Swans universe right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's even got the blonde hair to match. He just needs to, big up on his muscle game just to catch up to the authentic He-Man. But he's getting there. Few more arm curls, and he'll be He-Man's twin. But
right. He does look like a kind of thin He-Man, doesn't he? Yeah.
Absolutely. Put him in He-Man's clobber, and Hollywood has itself a movie with AnzaK Heaney in the starring role.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, there was a He-Man movie. It was great in the 80s. I loved it,
I think the next one should star AnzaK Heaney.
I agree. He's just got to hit those arm curls, as you said,
Yeah, absolutely. And I love, and there's also a groundswell of support for the Swans.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, the Swans and Port Adelaide had a capacity crowd. Their crowd numbers were 44,053.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, directly next door, were the Sharks and Cowboys at a grand total of 19,124.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, it was like there were two parties going on with neighbouring houses.
Yeah.
We had the Swans house and we had the Sharks house.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Swans house had blaring music, alcohol, chips, dips, sex, drugs, chains, and whips.
Yep.
The Sharks house had Pin the Tail on the Donkey,
Yep.
coconut water,
Yep.
carrot sticks, and they were listening to albums of the Carpenters.
And goldfish. Lots of goldfish.
Yes, night and day between the two of them. So the Swans absolutely have a groundswell of support behind them. And it makes for a very, very interesting grand final next week against the Brisbane Lions.
Yeah.
Or as I prefer to call them, because they are my enemy, the Brisbane Dandelions.
Oh, yep. Dandelions.
So, what are your thoughts on the grand final?
I'm excited. Remember, we were going to get Grovesy in to talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
We can do it. We can do it on next Saturday morning. We'll have like a grand final, day of grand.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I'll hook it up with him.
Yeah, the preview to the big one.
Yeah.
So that sounds awesome. So Brisbane actually ended up beating Geelong.
Yep.
14-11-95 to Geelong's 12-13-85. 12-13-85. I beg your pardon.
Yep.
The Brisbane Lions have become the comeback kids.
Yeah.
They were behind by 19 to the Cats at half time.
God. Yeah.
And early on in the third quarter, they were behind by 25 points.
God, what were they behind against GWS again? 20-something points, 20, 24, 25, something like that.
Here's the scoop. 44 points.
Oh, that's right. It was too.
Yes, they came back from over 7 goals behind. GWS is the one team that would be kicking their ass from here to Timbuktu. They're ahead by a maximum of 27 points at one stage against the Swans. They're ahead by 44 points.
Wow.
Against against Brisbane Lions.
Yep.
Oh, mate, they really blew some leads.
Yeah.
Real KGB FBI material, that. Oh, gee, didn't they blow some leads? So they'd be kicking their ass, GWS. But, you know, Brisbane they'll be a difficult opponent. You know, they've got some really good players like Cam Rayner, Will Ashcroft, and Brandon Starcevich. But the positive for the Swans is that their star ruckman, Oscar McInerney, is out with a shoulder injury. I believe he will not take place. And I like the Swans' sort of chances because they won the first semi-final, they had the week's break. The Port Adelaide win was a 36-point win, so that was kind of easy.
Yep.
Need to cruise there.
Mm.
I feel like Brisbane have had to not only go the long way around, but they've had to also fight back from sort of big deficits in both games.
Yep.
In their games, their more recent ones. So yeah, it'll be good.
Let's do it, mate. Next Saturday,
Yeah.
grand final special.
Yeah, absolutely. I really look forward to it. And no Victorian teams in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a pseudo state of origin.
Yep. I like it. Yeah.
Brisbane versus Sydney. And I don't know, for you Melbourneites that are trying to grab some sort of glory or the tiniest bit of light from your prison cell,
yeah.
For the real diehards and purists, you can attach yourself to it by like 1/20th of the glory of this match by saying it could be like South Melbourne versus Fitzroy.
Yeah.
Because South Melbourne eventually turned into Sydney.
Yep.
Fitzroy turned into Brisbane.
Yep. So that's good. So there you go.
Yeah. And just one statistic heading into the game. In their last 5, Brisbane have won 4 of the last 5. So they lead that 4-1 in their last 5 out of the tally.
Wow. Well, you know what? The AFL must be happy with this. Like,
yes,
you know, a couple of other big capital cities, you know, being in the grand final. It'll be huge.
Yes.
It'll be huge news in Brizzy. So it's a lot of new eyes on Aussie rules. So Aussie rules are going to be pleased as punch with that.
And I'm really hoping that Brisbane shoot the double blank.
Yep.
Lost last year and hopefully a loss this year. There's nothing more that you know how much I really love Brisbane and Queenslanders not. There's nothing more that I would love than to watch the Dandelions crying into their pink 2-ply tissues.
Again, back to back.
Again, back-to-back attack.
All
but
right.
it will be difficult.
Next sport, Drewy. I actually don't know the result of the Wobilies.
Okay, I do.
Yep.
I don't follow Union like I used to.
Yeah.
So this is like a soccer review. If you're wanting my fireworks and statistics, you are not getting them here. Trust me.
Yep.
But apparently we lost, I think it was something like 33-30.
Okay. Wow, that's not too bad.
And apparently we were behind by 5 tries or something.
Yeah,
we were behind by heaps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's why I didn't watch the second half, because I was like, that, you know, like it's not worth it. So there you go. There would have been a few free kicks to get to that score.
Yeah, like it's a very dud of a, let's say, rugby union Bledisloe preview, or sorry, post-match review.
Yep.
But I didn't watch it, and you apparently turned off. But the fact that we gave the All Blacks a bit of a run was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, union is a dying sport right now, and that saddens me because I played union.
Yep.
But it just doesn't get the groundswell of support, and it's difficult to get a look in at this time of year.
Where was it? Where was this game?
I was in Sydney.
Okay. And
Yes.
in the city here, not out west or in the city?
I only know it was in Sydney because when I was driving my car, I saw a throng of people lined up in Wallabies attire.
Okay,
So
that's right.
they're not just people going out on a random Saturday because they like Wallabies clothes.
Yeah. But so yesterday we had the Wallabies game, Wallabies All Blacks. We had the Sydney Swans playing, and also like a Sharks, and I know Cowboys don't have many fans here, but that's still quite a lot of sport in one city in one day, isn't it?
There is, and there was an absolutely amazing and shocking result in the world of boxing. If you're into boxing,
yeah.
This morning, international and global superstar, iconic heavyweight Anthony Joshua was defeated in the 5th round to Daniel Dubois. So that sent shockwaves through the boxing world.
I mean, of course, we all know Joshua, but
yes,
tell us about this Dubois. Is he French?
No, he's actually an Englishman with a French surname, but that happens.
That's okay. Yeah,
that's okay. I'm an Aussie with an Irish surname, so
Yep, same thing. Now tell us. I saw they were promoting this fight. I didn't see it. So Joshua lost, and weren't there? They were leading up to a big Joshua Tyson fight.
They were, and that's all been burned at the stake now, thanks to Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
I like it. His name, Dynamite Dubois.
Yeah, Daniel Dynamite Dubois, who comes in with a record of 22 wins, 2 losses, but 21 wins via KO.
Okay.
So
is that the next? Is the whole Joshua Tyson secondhand news, or what's happening there?
I think it might be, and this is what speaks to boxing in general. You got all these greedy promoters trying to marinate things, A side, B side. For years, Eddie Hearn, Joshua's promoters, was saying he was the A side. You take our cut or nothing, this, that, and the third. But at some point, you need to give a little to get a little. Because it's all very well wanting the big money and being the A side and putting 3 new Ferraris in your garage and buying an extra mansion by the beach. But if you burn the main course and you marinate for too fucking long and turn that creme brulee into an unrecognizable crisp of burntness, not that there's a word like that, you end up with nothing. Zero. You miss out on that legacy fight. You don't get to take that extra mansion and those Ferraris with you. But when you die, you get to take the legacy of those fights with you, the big ones. So he might have missed out on the Fury one. And, it's a big kick in the balls to Turki Al-Ashik, who is the Arabian financier who has been financing all of these huge fights, because that's what he had firmly locked in. He wanted Fury to potentially beat Usyk in December, which is no lock. But if he did, that was his next port of call. A massive fight.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Thank you. So that was going to be a massive fight that he had in his viewfinder, the AJ versus Fury fight. Now, all of those millions of dollars have just gone straight down the shit bowl with a great big flush, a royal flush.
But, Tyson is still fighting Usyk this December.
Yes.
But you think now that, well, I mean, you don't know. For all we know, Tyson could get smashed again,
Well, it's interesting. So the funny thing is, the person who they didn't want to be the main money-making star, because he comes with absolutely no charisma, is Alexander Usyk, who has beaten Joshua.
Yep.
He's beaten Fury.
Yep.
And funnily enough, he's got the whole series because he's beaten Dubois.
Oh,
So,
okay. I didn't know that. Okay, wow. Well, that just says
mate,
there's a lot.
stories
doesn't it?
upon
Yeah,
It certainly does.
When did he
So,
beat? When did he beat Dubois?
that was last year.
Oh, yeah.
And in the 9th round, he actually stopped Dubois. But that's a fight that you should go and watch or read up on, because there was a massive element of controversy, because don't quote me on, I think it was around about the 7th round or 6th round.
Yeah.
I think it was 7th. Dubois hit Usyk with this thunderous punch, and Usyk stayed on the ground. He claimed it was a low blow. The referee claimed it was a low blow.
In the
Many
ball,
spectators and ex-fighters thought it was a body shot.
Oh,
And the general consensus was relatively 50-50 on whether it was a ball punch or a body shot. And for all of my viewing, I'm still undecided.
yeah, wow.
So, and that actually has a narrative to it, that rematch, because there's so much controversy with Dubois and Usyk.
Yeah.
But this whole Joshua losing has thrown everything into disarray, because obviously they were focusing on maybe, well, Turkey Al-Sheikh was focusing on hopefully Fury beating Usyk, and then it would have gone straight to a Joshua fight.
Yep.
So just for quick reference, Joshua got heavily knocked down at the end of the 1st round. After that, he never recovered.
Yeah.
He then got knocked down in the 3rd round, the 4th round, and finally got stopped by a hook in the 5th round, and didn't actually beat the count or get up on his feet. He was lying on the ground for a while, and then stumbled around doing some sort of ray gun like dance, and
ray gun
counted out. Yeah. So
conclusively lost.
Oh, conclusive. You can't get any more conclusive.
And there won't be another one.
What, another what? Fury Joshua.
Yeah.
I do. Well, I don't know. Well, all I can say is it's a long way back from Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
You are starting at the bottom of Mount Everest again.
I mean, who would want to fight him now? He's lost.
And this is the thing. Like, don't always.
He was number one. You know.
Yeah. From the penthouse to the shit house.
Yeah, it's the penthouse.
So,
it really is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you're Richie Rich in the penthouse, don't always play hardball with everyone, because you may not have it tomorrow if you slip on a fucking banana peel.
Yeah.
And now all the bargaining power that he has, that he would have had to make the legacy fight against Fury, is now gone.
Gone. I mean, he's still, he still will get fights, but there'll be bums.
And of course, the greed and the marinating also speaks to the fact that when Wilder was in his prime, which no longer he is not, because he's completely shot and washed out, Joshua could have got Wilder, but again, playing games. I'm the A side. I hold the belt.
Yeah, dodged him.
I want an unfair cut of the money because I'm the big kahuna. Sometimes just put your ego aside and get to the legacy fights.
Yeah.
So, interesting. But your thoughts on Storm and Roosters next year? Who do you have winning? Not next year, next week, sorry.
Oh, look, I'm still, like, even though that the Roosters played good against Manly, beyond good, like smashed us, I still think that Roosters and Panthers are next level up. They have been all year, and beating Manly and a good Manly does not make you on par with Storm and the Roosters. So yeah, they're going to win. Storm are going to win and Panthers are going to win. That's what I think we're looking down the barrel of that gun.
Yeah, I do too. Look, Sea Eagles, we never really got fluid into the season. There were moments of brilliance, but then there were almost moments of shithousery too, where we just couldn't get our fucking act together. And so that's what separates the Storm and the Panthers from everyone else. They're just so consistent.
Yeah.
And the Roosters are just that slight echelon off that again. So I agree with you with those tips. And I just think that we're going to be headed for a Storm and Panthers grand final.
GF.
But,
All
you know.
We've done rugby league, Aussie rules,
Yeah.
boxing, a little bit of the wobbly wallabies.
Yeah.
Wobbly wallabies.
Yeah. A tiny nibble, a very novice nibble at that, but yes.
Yeah, and is that it? That's all the sport.
All I will say is for rugby union to catch our eye again.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's a long road home and I can't see it as a road back because the league players are paid too much money. Anyone with aspirations to play union, there's too much going against it with the amount of money that's offered with league, for my opinion.
And how many people were at the game? But the thing is, it probably had a good attendance, you know, at the Wallabies All Blacks.
Oh, I don't know. I doubt it. I reckon it'd be like at your Aunt Martha's barbecue.
Really?
With about 6 or 7 randoms and a couple of people that you don't know and a tumbleweed bouncing across the tiles. I honestly think rugby is in that kind of state right now. You think about the Super Rugby, nobody watches Super Rugby anymore.
Yeah. Well, you don't remember what channel it's on. Is it Prime? Is it this? You know, like, yeah.
Like you could watch. There could be the Super Rugby final now, and I remember that used to be packed out in pubs.
Yeah.
Now you could fire a cannonball through the place and not even hit a drink coaster. You know.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. But super excited for next week.
Yep.
Super excited for the AFL and the Swans.
Yep.
And hopefully the Swans can beat the Dandelions. Doesn't that sound like a gay little match? The Swans versus the Dandelions.
Yep. Go the Swannies.
Go the Swannies. Yeah. Beat that pussy.
Cuz we did it.
No worries. Go you Swannies.
Go the Swannies.
And better luck next year for the Eagles.
Yeah. I hate saying that. Go Manly in 2025, but okay, well, what would you say? I know it says less than a minute. I don't know how long we got. But
that's all right.
For me, the highlight of Manly was kicking the Dogs out. You know?
Correct.
For the whole year. I know we had some good wins throughout the year. You know, we beat Panthers, you know?
Yeah.
There were some good home wins. There were some good games, there were some close games.
There were.
But we got into the finals. We got into the so we got to take that. And that's what we wanted. You just in the top 8 did, and
and now I'm a turncoat because now I'm Go Swans.
Go Swans.
Go Swans.
Go Swans.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Ripper.
Thank you,
Thank you, Red Hot Underdogs.